Against third worldism. My primary objections. Firstly, third worldism is fundamentally an abdication of responsibility for leftists in the first world. Secondly, the idea that first world workers are overpaid because of exploitation of the third world is unfounded. Therefore, material conditions in the first world would not necessarily worsen as a result of third world revolutions. Indeed, worsening conditions is not really necessary for revolution at all. Abdication of responsibility. Third worldists who live in the first world are too ready to dismiss revolution in their own countries, and so don't feel enough responsibility to educate and agitate. First world workers are exploited by first world capitalists, contrary to what some third worldists claim. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates 50% labor share. This metric is an underestimate of what most Marxists would consider exploitation. Therefore, ending imperialism would not necessarily reduce the average living standards in the first world, though it likely would. Imperialist thieves, unlike ordinary thieves who take some amount of wealth from their target and enrich themselves by that same amount, imperialist thieves cause great destruction to the third world countries they exploit for comparatively little gain. Lower living standards is not necessary for revolution. There are cases of revolutions in all kinds of material conditions. That said, chaos and uncertainty present opportunities for the left, without a doubt. However, abject misery need not be present for the working class to organize and improve conditions for itself. The burden of proof falls on those who assert that material conditions make revolution impossible in the first world. Opportunities are generally underestimated among the left in the first world, in part because of a focus on past and imagined revolutionary scenarios. The present unique opportunities are underestimated and insufficiently taken advantage of. The phenomenon of Bernie Sanders shows that people who the bourgeois have a thorough distaste for can reach and galvanize the masses. Likely, first world revolutions would need to look quite different from all historic ones. The long history of failed attempts gives us reasonable confidence in this belief. Take, for example, the case of the Black Panthers in the United States. It's hard to see what they could have done all that much better, and despite that, they were not particularly close to success. Third worldism is likely not the best way to help third world revolutions, given that historically it has been unsuccessful at reaching a wide audience or any kind of power in the imperialist countries. On the other hand, revolutions with forms particular to the first world and even individual countries could, even with partial success, provide cover for third world revolutions and thus help them in a real way. This revolutionary alliance between progressive movements is mutually beneficial and indeed may be necessary for imperialism to be overthrown. Note that this doesn't entail any taking on of less anti-imperialist positions, but rather tactically taking advantage of modern opportunities.